everyone, and it's Alexandra from Alexandra Plans, and I wanted to do a different take on bullet journal ideas for today. I know that in the bullet journal community we are all trying to find inspiration for bullet journal pages and ways that we can kind of bring our bullet journals to life a little bit. But it was interesting because when I was going through my Lister's Gotta List journals, I found that there was a lot of ideas that I had already done, not realizing about anything about the bullet journal community at the time, that when I flip back to them, I'm like, wow, these are some really good ideas that could be applied to bullet journaling. So this video is dedicated to bullet journal ideas based on what I've done on Lister's Gotta List challenges, and I've broken them down into 3 categories just to kind of make things easier. The first is ideas for lists that you can do in your bullet journal. The second is personal development ideas. And the third is snapshots, pages that are dedicated to really kind of documenting what you're into at any given moment of time. And it's awesome to record these things in your bullet journal because it just gives your bullet journal, I think, a different dimension than just recording to-do lists. I've noticed that a couple of you, and I'm really excited that you've noticed that I'm all about color. I'm a very visual person. I like color. I know that a lot of people in the bullet journal community like a more simplistic, minimalist approach. And I've been experimenting with that as well, but I always go back to color and doodles, and that's just my style. So for a lot of the ideas, you're going to see a lot of that. And so I hope you find inspiration. I haven't seen anything like this in the bullet journal community yet. So I'm hoping that this is a new take on some ideas that you can use for your pages. So let's get started. As you've seen in my last post, this is the current journal that I am on. So there's not many ideas in here yet because I'm only a couple pages in, but it's still so pretty, and I just wanted to share it with you again. That I will link down below. So let's get started. I put some tabs here because there are so many prompts that I had done in the 6 months that I've been doing it. So let's get started on lists. First example that I wanted to show you is a wish list, okay? It doesn't have to be a crafter planner wish list. This was just the prompt at the time that I had to do. But I liked that I incorporated the doodles in here, and I did like little splashes of paint to just say what I wanted on my wish list. And I think this is a really cool idea. If you don't have a page dedicated to this, things that you have an eye on, you know, obviously you could change the doodles up if it's more fashion oriented or whatever the case may be. But this is for a crafter planner wish list, and I think this is a good idea as far as what you can use for that. In addition, let's go to this one because I have more here. Another idea that you can do is a shopping list. This might be more appropriate for the holidays. Now, this particular prompt was for gifts I gave myself, but I really liked the cool doodle here with the stack of gifts, and this could apply to birthday gifts throughout the year, anniversary gifts, any gifts in general, really. But I thought this was a really, really nice take on that. Again, I love color. I mean, that's how I enjoy my journals. So that is one other idea. The last idea that I had was a reading list. I started in the beginning of 2016 of this year, and I did a stack of books. Just an interesting take on, instead of just listing it out, I think this makes it a little more fun and exciting. I did a little cup of coffee and a little pencil there and stuff like that. Obviously, you don't have to make the title as big, but again, this is for a different purpose at the time. But this can be changed around a little bit to incorporate a reading list. You can have them stacked up this way. You can draw them out this way. And again, you don't have to be an artist to bullet journal, obviously. But again, I find that a lot of people might get intimidated or overwhelmed. It's just fun. Have fun with it. It's your journal. Just do it any way you want. But again, it's not hard to come up with these doodles and stuff, and it just makes your bullet journal a little more, it gives a little more pizzazz and oomph, and I'm all about that. So those are a couple of my ideas for lists. So you have the shopping list, wish list, and reading lists. The second realm of ideas deals with personal development. In our bullet journals, I know that we try to put pages in there that motivate us, that, you know, like affirmations or quotes or words of encouragement. And so I found doing these Lister's Got a List challenges that there are so many of those types of pages that I have already done that I wanted to share with you today. The first is motivational quotes. This particular prompt back in, I believe this was January, was what I will tell myself to keep going. And so these were a couple of the quotes at the time. I jazzed it up with my Tombow markers, you know, and honestly, it just makes it come to life. And when I turn the page, I know, okay, wow, these are motivational quotes just to refer back to. I think sometimes we, you know, get down and out and we kind of lose sight of things. And so having a page like this, I think, is really, really important. In addition to that, dealing with personal development, there was another prompt on personal development goals. So maybe something mapped out like this might be, again, more beneficial to those of you, us keeping a bullet journal, that, you know, if we have goals for ourselves, whether it's personal or with blogging, with work related things, I think that having this could be very, very beneficial, like I said. So in the beginning of 2016, I had written things that I wanted for myself to be more productive, especially now that I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I find myself like I need to just kind of do things for myself now that I'm not working, to be more creative and to hopefully combine the two so that that could happen. Okay. Another thing, I think this is like my favorite thing that I'm going to share with you today, is a vision board. If you've never done a vision board, obviously, if you don't know what it is, basically you take magazines or whatever is of importance to you, and the way I had done my first vision board is like you kind of like put yourself in a quiet room, put on this like very relaxing music that just kind of makes you open your mind, and whatever you're drawn to, whatever speaks to you in images, you just kind of put on a vision board, and it's what you envision for yourself to happen, hopefully, in the near future. And when I had done my first vision board 6 years ago, you know, I was like, oh, this is not going to work. Well, 3 months later, I met my husband, and I have to say, maybe 80% of the stuff that was on the vision board actually came true, and it was just mind-boggling to me. And I think that, again, the power of visualization is so important. Again, that's why I'm so visual, and I think it's just, for me, it just works. But I think even drawing out, or even having a page dedicated to a vision board in your bullet journal, especially if it's something that, you know, we carry around with us all the time, I think it could be so powerful. So this was one that I had in my Lister's Got a List. So it was like, build a mini vision board. So I drew it out, an Etsy shop, a new home, obviously saving more money. And you could, again, beautiful thing about bullet journaling, you could customize it any way you want. And I think this is such a cool idea to include, and I am going to do so very, very soon. But again, I have this written down. I'm just going to transfer it over to my bullet journal. Okay. Another page that I wanted to show you as far as personal development goes is health goals. You could do a monthly page on how you're going to improve yourself that month. So this was, I want to say, back in November. I had written, you know, eating healthier and cooking at home more, drinking more water, trying to be more active, worrying less, and being grateful for the little things more. And it's just these little things that I think can make the difference. And again, just cute little doodles, Tombow markers, or the Staedtlers, or whatever you're using to jazz it up, and it just makes the pages come to life. And I think it just, for me, it speaks to me more, and I hope if you're in the same group that I'm in as far as color and things like that, again, it can be very, very powerful stuff. So that as far as personal developments. Also, you can include your favorite quotes. This is another good page for personal development, words that empower you. just as a reminder, this was back in January. Belief, faith, optimism, freedom, love, purpose, and wisdom. So anything that speaks to you, you could have a page dedicated to that. This could also go along very well with like an affirmation page, which I plan on doing because I don't have anything designed like that yet for my bullet journal, but that's also a very, very good idea. Okay. And I also had like quotes, but this was quotes about love. I think I had another one with generic quotes, but I can't find it at the moment. But you get the idea. Just a page dedicated to quotes is also a good idea for personal development. The last category real quick that I want to go over are snapshots. Okay, snapshots in time that we like to have in our minds, and we need to document these, I think, in our bullet journal because it's important. I think it's what sets it apart. So the first one that I had mentioned in my last video was what you're currently into at the moment, and I had already transferred this into my current bullet journal. This was from back in February, and this is what I was currently into at the moment. So I put down Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, shows I was watching at the time, and artists that I was listening to at the moment. And again, I'm going to use this again. I love it. I've been using this for a few months now in my Listeners Got a List challenges, so I figured why not transfer it over in my bullet journal. It's a really cool and fun way to take a snapshot of what you're into at the moment. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about is the memory pages. We like to list, and I see it all the time, people who want to document the memories each month. Okay, if you're not an artist, some word bubbles, easy way to document it. This was from back in December, and I like to do it from each month. So this is from December, so I did a little snowman, and I did the little snowflakes as bullet points and stuff like that. If I were to flip back to other months, just to kind of give you an idea here, this was from October. I did the leaves changing, okay, and then if we go to November. See, I did pumpkins and, falling leaves. So again, these are just some ideas of what you can do to make it your own, these little doodles and stuff. I just think it makes it so fun and enjoyable to look at later on. And so I'm a big fan of the doodles and color and things like that. I'm going to just show you one more that I had done for February. See, February memories. So this was a little Cupid, I practiced my lettering and I did some shading and tried to practice that. But again, this is a good way to not only document, but to practice your hand lettering, because I know that in bullet journal community, that's a big thing that people are trying to take on now, is improving their handwriting. So why not? And from the other day, another cool way to document memories. This is from my current book. Okay, draw a little person, and you have the little thought bubbles around it, and that's also a really cute and fun way, I think, to document your memories each month. So that is what I have for you today. If you have any questions on the materials that I use, I will link down everything below. But if you have any questions on the materials that I use, for what pens I use to draw these and stuff, I will answer those questions down below. And I hope you enjoy. I hope you get some inspiration. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Please follow me on Instagram, because I do post Listeners Got a List challenges every day on my Instagram. And leave a comment if you'd like. Please visit my blog at alexandraplans.com. And until next time, bye.